This week on Gem City Treasures, we would like to feature a couple who have truly loved Jellico, Dan and Michelle Renner. When we moved back to Jellico, Tennessee in 2002, we met Dan and Michelle and their boys, Clint and Michael, in a little print shop on South Main Street. There was an instant connection. They loved Jellico, and it showed. Their shop printed an informative free weekly newspaper for the city for 7 years. They are the kind of people every community needs. They took pride in the heritage of the town while extending friendship to people they didn't know, like us. Sometimes you meet people and you feel as if you've known them for years. They are those kind of people. Dan is a man who loves his family and friends. He's a naval veteran where he served our country with honor for 5 years. He didn't quit there. He learned the print business and coached football at the elementary before going back to school to become a certified electrician. Michelle mirrors Dan in her love for family and friends. She is a respiratory therapist and helps many elderly in our community in their latter years. And she's worked tirelessly for the Jellico alumni. They have recently moved to the Knoxville area. God bless you, Dan and Michelle. Jellico's loss is truly your new community's gain. You will be sorely missed. We hope for you good things in your new endeavor.
Today on the program, we'll talk to Dan and Michelle Renner about their family, life, and time in Jellico, Tennessee. Don't miss this special edition of Gem City Treasures.
We are just excited about our guest that we have with us today, and he truly is a Gem City treasure, and that's Dan Renner.
I was born in Knoxville in '63.
Dan's childhood was spent in Tennessee and Ohio. In 1980, he and his family moved to Jellico, where he spent his senior year and played football for Jellico High School.
What was your era there?
I went to Jellico High School 81. Yeah. I graduated in 81.
Yeah, so you were quite a bit further behind me, but nonetheless, I think we shared the same coaches, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, back in those days, we didn't have a weight room or anything like that. We didn't have weights. Didn't have a whole lot of. You know, I think Coach had a whistle and a stopwatch. And that's as high tech as we got. But he had a lot of heart, and it rubbed off on us. Yeah. And what we lacked in talent and technology, we made up for it with our heart and our desire.
Yeah. Football socks.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, I had 3 stripes. That was the coolest football socks.
Oh, I know.
You know, some guys only have 2 stripes.
Yeah.
For our home jerseys, our away jerseys were just the white fishnet, you know, practice jerseys. We didn't really have away jerseys. So we didn't care what we looked like away. We just wanted to look good at home. Well, they had bought those, and they only bought one. So if you got a tear in it, it was bad news. Get the needle and thread out, or you had to wear a different number.
Dan's sports career didn't stop there. He went on to coach the Jellico Elementary football team for 3 years, where he applied many of the principles he learned in high school. In the process of coaching, he influenced his own son, who can't deny who taught him to love the game.
He's the one that introduced me to football. He's the one that got me into all the sports that I like. Me and my brother, and we would always have a lot of fun.
We know that you had years in the military as well.
I did, yeah.
And what branch of service did you serve in?
I was in the Navy from 1985 to 1990. Served the whole time on the USS Stark.
Stark. Okay.
Yeah, I did my whole time on the same ship.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
I served on the USS Stark from 1985 to 1990. Actually, I didn't get to the Stark until early in '86. But I was on board the ship about 2 weeks, and then we went to Cuba, the second worst place I've ever been in my life. We sailed around, came home every now and then. In 1987, got hit by 2 Exocet missiles in the Persian Gulf.
I was 16. I was with his sister and his family when we were waiting to hear the news.
So he's a true war hero also.
He is.
I know that a lot of people think about different veterans that they know, but when I think of a veteran, I think of Dan.
And got to come home after that for a little while, for about a month. Then spent a year in Pascagoula, Mississippi, while they were rebuilding the ship. And that was in '88, and in November of '89, I got out of the Navy.
I was best friends with his sister, Barbie, and she was a class ahead of me. And we would just run around a lot together because we both lived right downtown, just the sidewalk apart from each other, basically. And he would come in, and I just thought he was the cutest thing ever. And of course, you know, he didn't give me the light of day because I was his baby sister's best friend.
I remember her and my sister running around a lot. I'd take them up to Pizza Hut in Williamsburg sometime, and that was always big fun. Back then, going to Pizza Hut in Williamsburg, that was a big deal.
He would write me when he was in the Navy at different places and send me coins, and I still have those. And it just always was there.
Yeah.
And then we just came to the point in our lives where we met up again, and it was just like we were best friends.
Started dating for a little while and ended up getting married. It's been 15 years now, 16 years now.
Michelle Leach Renner. She's a dear friend of ours, and has been for a very long time. Michelle's one of these people that I feel like I've known all my life. I haven't, but I feel you've all met people like that where you have an instant connection with them and you feel like you've known them. And Michelle is that kind of person. She is truly a gem of Jellico, Tennessee. And we appreciate her being here today with us. And I've told Michelle and Dan, her husband, that someday they should be mayor of Jellico. And they know a lot about Jellico, and they love the people there. And when Roger and I first moved back to Jellico in 2002, Michelle and Dan were some of the first people that we met. In business-wise, we went to town to get something printed, Christmas cards, and they helped us with that, and there was just that instant connection. And we really love them, and I know many of you do too, that live in Jellico. And I'd just like for Michelle to talk a little bit about her earliest memories of Jellico, Tennessee, and the people there, and what she has loved about the city.
I guess the first thing that I can really remember is a flood and learning the people of Jellico then. I think it was in '72, is as far back as I can remember. And the floodwaters came up over the baseball field, and we lived right downtown, right beside the First Baptist Church, and the waters come up into our basement.
Wow.
And I remember everyone in the town just rallying around to try to help everyone get their household items out so they could be saved. I guess that's the first thing I remember about
And
being
how
a part of the
How old
town.
were you then?
2.
2.
Yeah.
But it was.
I was little,
It was
very little.
catastrophic,
Yes.
you know.
And then again in '74.
Yeah.
And I remember that one very well.
And to come right up into town,
Yes.
I mean, it comes pretty close.
Yeah, it was in the stores and in our house.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And now you used to have a business right there in town.
We did.
And then tell us a little bit about that and how you got to know people through that. And you had a little newspaper that you
We did.
that ran.
Dan started the print shop, and I really didn't know anything about doing anything. The only thing I knew to do was talk.
Yeah.
So I'd just stand out in the front and talk to everyone. And where Dan really didn't grow up in Jellico, he didn't know as many people as I did. So I would get to talk with the people and then put in relation to who
Right.
they were for
Right.
him. I decided one day that we didn't have a newspaper that was in town
Right.
that was covering the local events and the local people. So I decided let's try this. Let's try a free newspaper and get advertisers to pay and give it out and just let people talk about their family and what's going on in their
Right.
churches and in their local schools. So we did that for a couple of years, and it was just kind of like mad every Tuesday.
a respiratory therapist, and you help older people
I do,
in a
yeah.
nursing home, and that is something that you love.
I
do.
have been a respiratory therapist for 23 years. I took 2 years off when I had Michael, and we had started the print shop during that time, and then I went back part-time. So, and then ever since then I've worked at nursing homes mostly.
Yeah.
Before
And-
I worked in hospitals, but now I do nursing home and acute skilled care with trach patients.
People love you, don't they? I mean, your patients. They
Oh,
go-
yeah.
Yeah. And now your mother, she's part of she's lived in Jellico and in that surrounding area most of her life, or all of her life,
Yeah.
right? So you've lived there a long time and went to the high school.
Yes, the old high school.
The old high school,
Yes.
before they built the one they've got now.
Mhm.
And so you have a lot of connections with people,
I do.
and those mean a lot to you as the years go by, and you can go back. And I know you recently moved from Jellico, and that's been a little bit hard, you know, to kind of
has
get away
been.
from those people that
Mhm.
you grew up with. But you guys are going on and doing something
Yeah.
different now.
I went to Jellico kindergarten through high school graduation. Several of my classmates, we were actually in the same kindergarten class. We are still really good friends. We have a very close class, and we try to get together every year. We graduated in 1989, and we say we are the best class from Jellico High School. And I believe we are. But you know, you don't realize it until you get out of school how much going to school meant.
Yeah.
And how much, you know, just growing up in town with a close-knit set of people is. And we did that, but now we would have other kids come in from like Clarefield and White Oak, and we just took them right in like they'd been a part of our class forever. But the ones of us that grew up together from kindergarten up, we're still just really close.
I think that's what's good about a small town, when it's good, you know, and you love each other and you grow up together, and there you have some really good memories.
Yeah,
But
that's
I really appreciate you being here,
Thank you.
and I think if you've known Michelle and Dan, it's just like me. I didn't grow up with her, and I am quite a bit older than her, but they are truly, really, really sweet people, and they are truly of Jellico, Tennessee.
Well, thank you, Beverly.
Clint's going to school, Michael's going, my sons, they're both going to school. Clint's in vocational school and Michael's in high school. We have a golfing son, Michael, who's about 6'3" now. So he's quite a bit taller than his dad. And he golfs quite a bit better than his dad too.
He taught me everything about baseball. Nowadays I'm teaching him about golf.
He is quite the golfer. The other day he shot a 39, which is pretty good for a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I think on that, he took me golfing on that course one time, and I don't remember what he shot that day, but I shot like a 50-something.
It's kind of intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm terrible. He's just teaching me how.
Yeah.
Right now, and he really loves the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play around with it.
Sometimes we go out and play. We just goof around, hit a few, stuff like that. My dad took me to the Smokies game for my birthday, and I got to throw out the first pitch in the Smokies game. So we did that, and we ended up going 2 or 3 times more for my birthday. I think we went the next 2 years. As you can see, he's always taking me to the baseball games and always taking me fishing.
Thankful for your service to the city, but mostly to the Lord. And I think that's the most important thing, is to be on the right page with the Lord.
I think so too.
Yeah.
One of the best things that I like about knowing you was we always had something good to say.
Yeah.
I always shared a lot of fun things. You know, Jellico kind of being the base of what we talk about when we're talking about Gem City Treasures was the common bond that we had. It's been a pleasure to have Dan Renner with us here on Gem City Treasures, and kind of just wanted to bring you up to date on what I consider the best people that I've known in my life. And I'd just like to say thanks again for Dan Renner. Till we see you the next time. This is Roger Webb and Dan Renner from Gem City Treasures.